Are you curious about bodies, pleasure, and possibilities? And what about curious about what others are up to on the planet when it comes to pleasure, sex, and play? Have you considered what pleasure can do for your life, your body, and your bank account? Do you know something magical, delightful, and out of this world orgasmic is not only possible for you, but totally available to you? If you're ready to be the magical, sexual, sexy beast you know you can be, and you just need the tools to get there, you're in the right place. Now, here is the host of The Pleasure Zone, sex, relationship, and intimacy coach and holistic health practitioner, Milica Jelenic.
Welcome, my sweet pleasure seekers. This episode today is one of two. In the last episode, last week, we were talking about how the brain and nervous system process pleasure. Well, this week, we're going to actually be doing some different fun, playful breath work in order to learn how to calm our nervous systems, to get some of these, the different hormones in our body, like in all the different things like the dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins going in our body, those happy hormones, happy chemicals going in our bodies. So we're going to be talking about some methods for actually having that show up in our bodies. So breath work is a great way. We're going to talk about 4 different kinds of breath work. Let's see what else we can talk about as well. Might even take you through a meditation. This episode's going to be very engaging. So if this is something that you're intrigued by and you'd like to try, remember that if you are driving vehicles or you're doing anything that you need to concentrate on, maybe listen to this episode at a later time when you can just really get into it and enjoy it. So what we're going to be doing today is breath work that can calm the nervous system and because I can't talk today because I'm 50. So using breath work to calm the nervous system and increase pleasure sensitivity. That's what we're going to be talking about. Because apparently my tongue got twisted somewhere in the last few days, but we're going to be back on track. So breathwork itself is something that I really love doing. It's something that, breathwork is different than breathing. Like we all breathe, but learning breathing that is specific to different requirements, whether it's calming you down or whether it's instigating your body to get into a little bit of hyperactivity so that so you can learn how to navigate that and be able to self-regulate in a different way. We're going to learn 4 different kinds of breathing techniques that are specific to activating your parasympathetic nervous system, also to increasing things, decreasing cortisol, increasing pleasure, all that sort of stuff. So breathing is something that you're going to do because that's what keeps you alive, gets the oxygen in your body. Most people breathe to about the level of maybe the bottom of their neck, maybe a little deeper. Very few people breathe right into their belly on a regular basis. So if you're just noticing while I'm speaking, you might start to notice your breath and you might be like, whoa, I only breathe to about the back of my throat. But somehow the air comes up through your lungs. It can actually create some pressure and tension in your body if you're doing really shallow breathing. So we want to do some breath that's actually coming down into the body and being able to do that on a regular basis. So one of the things is just to begin a practice. And then as you begin a practice, what you can do is you start to integrate that into your life. And that practice and that integration become the way that you breathe. So we're going to be using breath in order to increase pleasure sensitivity, but also what it's going to have is multiple different layers of effects. So if we're decreasing cortisol, then what happens is your body can calm down. If your body can calm down, it can heal. And some of the best orgasmic energy you can have, or orgasms or climaxes you can have, is when your body is, I know this sounds backwards, but when your body is calm, or should we say relaxed. So it might have a heightened sense of awareness or stimulation, and at the same time feel calm and connected. So I know that might sound a little bit mixed up, confused, but it does exist and it is possible. Why do I talk about these things? Well, one of the reasons is that I have for several decades been totally curious about human sexuality and have taken courses all the way through university on the history of sexuality, psychology connected to sex and sexuality. I hadn't intended at that time to become a sex and intimacy coach or a relationship coach or even to work in the holistic health field. I really didn't at that time know what I was getting into, because anything that I had dreamed about prior to that, like becoming a vet, was put on the back burner. So I just sheerly took those courses out of interest, figuring these are going to be my ways to stay interested in class and, get enough grades to pass. So, or do even better than pass. So my curiosity has been around for a long time. My learning has been continuous. And throughout the decades, I have, gleaned information from multiple sources, teachers, workshops, you name it, play shops, all of that. And so what I come to you today with is a very holistic approach to health as well as sexuality. So when I say I'm a holistic health practitioner and sex and intimacy coach, those are, some titles I have. However, all of that, I like. Holistic health is the way I approach health. I work with different modalities. And within that, when I work with people to do with sex and intimacy, I also look at that from a holistic perspective as well. It's not just how do you, stimulate a clitoris or, how do you give a great blowjob? Well, let's look at your whole self, what's going on, with you, with your thoughts, with your feelings, with your belief systems, all of those different things that play a role and a part in whether you're willing to have the greatest pleasure ever. So I hope that gives you a little insight into a little bit of why I do what I do, where I'm coming from, and my approach when I work with people, being more of a holistic approach. It is a holistic approach. So if that's something that you're curious about and would like to learn more about, you can always feel free to shoot me an email. You can go to my website, milicajelenic.com. And if you send me an email through there, I generally respond to you. If I see it, if it hasn't landed in my junk mail, I usually respond to you within 3 days. If you haven't heard from me, write again. Hopefully, I will see it sooner than later. So taking a deep breath, just to really get, connected. We're just going to be in our bodies. And sometimes, like right now, I have a little bit of a cold going on. So deep breathing can actually help sometimes clear that. So this can be helpful both for pleasure, but also to help with breathing in general, to increase oxygen to the body so that you can increase your immune system as well and reduce stress so that your body can be calm to heal. So we're going to be looking at breath work, different kinds of breath work, which essentially is different breathing techniques. And breath work is a powerful tool for regulating the nervous system, for reducing stress, and enhancing pleasure sensitivity. And we're going to look at 4 main ones. We're going to look at, and there's different names for these, so just keep in mind that if you know this by a different name, yes, you probably do. We're going to look at belly breathing, or some people call it diaphragmatic breathing. Belly breathing is an easy way to refer to it. We're also going to look at breath work for arousal, for relaxation and arousal balance. And then there's sensory expansion breath work. So some people refer to that as awakening pleasure sensitivity breath work. It's also one that's kind of just for really, it's more like visualizing and bringing energies into your body. So we've done a lot of these already on this show over the years. And what I'm giving you is a bit of a culmination in this hour so that you don't have to go back and listen to the 500 other shows, but please go back and do. I have done shows specifically with tantric teachers where we've talked about different breathing. We've also had breathwork experts on here. We've talked about different kinds of breathwork. And in this episode, we're talking about breathwork that you can do on your own. You don't require somebody to facilitate this. There is breath work that is probably better to have facilitators there with you if you're doing somatic breath work, or if you're doing or other names for that, holotropic breath work, or yeah, those kinds of styles of breath work that get you more into a height. Well, I would say like more of a heightened arousal, so that your body feels sometimes more like anxious, and then you need to have somebody there with you to help regulate it. Unless you're incredibly skilled at it and know how to do that yourself, you might land in an anxiety attack. So this breath work is going to be more calming and something that you can do on your own. And then we're going to jump in and see how much time we have still, and possibly do a guided meditation for breathing and pleasure as well. So I'm hoping that we get through all the ideas that I have today. And yeah, we might even have some time to talk about some somatic therapy, which is the type of body work. I do a kind of body work called the mitzvah technique, which is a type of somatic movement therapy. So we might talk a little bit about that. We'll certainly see how much time we have left. And then I'll give you some reflection questions. Hopefully we've got time for all of that. So, what a packed show we've got for you tonight. So I hope you guys stay tuned in and you enjoy, and you also follow through with these exercises. So we're going to do one exercise before break, and then we're going to do 3 more breathing exercises after break. So feel free to follow along and get engaged. And by all means, if you need to come back to this, you can always listen to this in a replay later, when you might be able to follow along better if you're doing something like driving or anything like that. So belly breathing. So you can do this sitting down or lying down. Either way, it doesn't really matter. The purpose of belly breathing is to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, so your PNS, which has to do with rest and digest mode. You want to get into that mode. So we're going to be reducing stress and increasing body awareness. Some of the benefits of the belly breathing are to lower stress hormones like cortisol and to increase oxygen flow, which is also going to help with promoting relaxation and heightened sensation. So while you're sitting or lying down comfortably, you can put one hand on your belly. I like to put one so that I kind of have my belly button sitting right between my thumb, like the little crook of the thumb and your pointer finger, first finger. And I just like to kind of, I don't know, because it feels nice on my belly to hold that. So 4 of my fingers are below my belly button and 1 is above, and I'm kind of like straddling my belly button with the crook of my thumb, and the other hand can go on your chest. And it doesn't matter which one it is. So usually between your breasts, but if you feel more inclined to put it on your heart or one side more than the other, go right ahead. It's just for whatever is more comforting to you. And we're going to start with, so keeping yourself laying down or sitting up, allowing your body to feel calm, connecting with your feet and your legs, connecting your body to whatever you're sitting or lying down on, and just noticing that you might start to notice a sensation of sinking or heaviness as your body starts to get more and more connected to the earth. You'll take an inhale in through your nose, and we're going to this time count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and allow your belly to rise while your chest is still. And then exhale slowly through your mouth for 5 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're going to do a few more on the 5. So you're going to inhale through your nose, allow your belly to rise, keeping your chest still. So right now my nose is a little stuffy, so I didn't inhale through my mouth. If your nose is a little stuffy, you can do that too. You can also, try to do through your nose. So And you might notice that it might feel exaggerated that you're breathing in. And when you're breathing in, you might feel like an exaggerated movement in your belly, and that's totally fine. Um, Doing it a little gentler at first can be helpful if you're not used to it, so that you don't have your abdomen feel sore later. Like your abdominal muscles can feel like they had a workout if you haven't really done this before. So we're going to do some more deep inhales. We're going to do one more to remind you how to do this, and then you're going to do this during the commercial as well. So deep inhale through your nose for the count of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, allowing your belly to raise, and then exhale through your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keep that breathing going as we head to commercial break. You're listening to the Pleasure Zone here on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back after this commercial.
Are you secretly a voyeur, wondering what's going on in other people's sex lives? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual evolution? Are you interested in people who are pioneers of different sexual and pleasurable practices? Lean in now with Milica Jelenic, where she will entice you and your body to know your own pleasure zone. On the Pleasure Zone radio show, with sex, relationship, and intimacy coach, Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Pleasure Zone with sex, relationship, and intimacy coach, Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email, info@MilicaJelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my sweet pleasure seekers. I hope you guys were enjoying your belly breathing during the commercial. I just kept on going with an in through my nose for 5, out through my mouth for 5, just allowing the belly to rise on the inhale and go down on the exhale. I hope that was fun for you guys. So, and you might even notice that you are having increased oxygen flow. I noticed that as I did it more and just really was more diligent about breathing through my nose. I just didn't want you guys during the practice to hear me be snotty. So didn't want to turn you off or turn you on with that. So though during the commercial, I was breathing through my nose, and it does help my sinuses as well. So that is helpful on clearing the sinuses. So if you can breathe through your nose, do it. If you can't, well, breathe through your mouth. It's okay. It is ideal, though, to breathe through your nose for the inhale and out through your mouth for the exhale. A lot of this breathing is an in through your nose, out through your mouth kind of breath work. This next one, which some people call a 3-3-6 breath work, a 4-4-8, or a 4-7-8. The idea is that you're breathing in for about half as much as you're going to breathe out, and in the middle there's a hold. So the 3-3-6 would be that you breathe in for 3, hold for 3, out for 6, in for 4, hold for 4, out for 8, or in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. So we're actually going to do the longer breath hold on this one with the 7. So if you are an avid listener of the Pleasure Zone, you've heard me talk a lot about the 4-4-8 breath work, which I actually learned from listening to a podcast on the Inspired Choices Network that was years ago, that was by Dr. Ron Janer, and he had a show called Grizzly Bears and 2-year-olds, and he liked to use the 4-4-8 breath work a lot, and it's very helpful breath work. So I want to give a shout out to him because I did learn that from him. The 4-7-8 breath work is same kind of concept. And so after I learned that from him, it's one of those things where you learn something and then you hear it everywhere. I started to realize that I had heard it many times in my life, but for some reason when he said it, it felt like it was the first time I'd ever heard it. So I get that I give him credit for that, because whatever it was that he said triggered me to remember it and do it and then pass it on, because it is incredibly helpful. So this one we're going to do really quick. It's only going to be about 4 to 5 cycles, definitely under 10. And one of the things you can do with this one is on that hold, if you're having anxiety of any kind, fears of any kind coming up, you can on that hold check and see if you're safe, and literally look around the room and ask, am I safe, while you're doing the breath hold? And like, if nothing's on fire, if you're not being robbed, then on your breath out, in your mind, you can also think, I am safe. And if you want to breathe out and then say, I am safe, before taking a breath in, that helps as well to just switch your mindset. So on this one, we're not going to be necessarily doing the words. This is just purely for switching the breath up, but just know that you can use this in many different ways. And the checking the environment and then doing an affirmation to yourself was something that I'd added to that work after I learned about the 4-4-8 breath work. Then I kind of added a few things to it because I thought they were helpful. So I don't know if I added to them because I'd heard it somewhere or I just did it on my own. Not really sure. But I just know that that's how I do it now. So we're going to do the 4-7-8, and you're going to be breathing in through your nose for 4. Then you're going to hold for 7, and then you're going to breathe out for the count of 8. So I'll be, in this case, counting. So it's going to be a little bit different than holding my breath. That way you guys can follow along to my numbers. So we're going to go in for breathing in through your nose for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then exhale through your mouth for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So in through your nose, hold, exhale through your mouth. That's 2 cycles. We're going to do at least 2 to 3 more cycles. So in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. So we got 3 cycles. Now we're going to go in for 4, hold for 7, out for 8. Maybe one more cycle. So in for 4, hold for 7, out of your mouth for 8. So you might start to feel that your body is calming down. It will shift your body out of stress. It'll shift your body into relaxation. It'll start to give you more heightened awareness of your body, maybe where you have some tension and stress that still needs to be shifted. What it gave me heightened awareness of was dryness. So now I'm like incredibly aware of how dry so many parts of my body are. We heat with wood in our house, and that can be incredibly dry, even when we put out bowls of water and different things for humidity. So right now I'm like, whew, I didn't realize how dry I felt until we got into some heightened awareness of that. I'll probably be drinking a lot of water on this show. Alrighty. Hope that was both easy and memorable for you, in a way that I mean that it's memorable that you'll remember how to do it and that you will do it when you need it, especially if you go through anxiety and stress on a regular basis. And then adding, if you are going through anxiety, to check and see if you're safe or whatever you're having anxiety about. If you don't know what you're having anxiety about, all of those things, it can really help to be able to reduce the cortisol and help you feel calm. So on this show, we've also talked about a few different kinds of breath work, where I don't call it this, but it's called this. So I've called it this on the show because it's called the inner smile. And it's from a body of work that's a Qigong practice. And so we will be doing something similar to that. There's also a tantric practice that's also a type of circular breathing to expand orgasmic energy. And we're going to do a simplified version of the inner smile. And then we're actually going to do like two variations. So we're going to do just the visualization part of the inner smile, and then we're going to do just the breath work. Because there's going to be breathing with the visualization as well, but part of it is when you are doing the inner smile, you're breathing, you're visualizing, and my body also moves and rocks while the inner smile is going on. I was facilitating somebody last week with this, and they were like, wow, this takes a lot of coordination. And I hadn't really thought about it. And sometimes I need reminders from beginner practitioners that maybe I've given them too much at once. So breaking it down today to segments. So this might be helpful. So part of the purpose of this type of sensory expansion breath is to increase circulation to your erogenous zone, or zones, plural, and to deepen your connection to pleasure. So what we'll be doing in this one is we're going to be taking slow, deep breaths in through the nose again. And when we inhale, we're going to be visualizing pleasurable things spreading through our body. So I'll walk you through that. And then as you exhale, you're going to release tension and stress. And then while you're breathing, you can like touch different parts of your body, your arms, your neck. The idea of this is that you touch the unlikely erogenous zones. So we would kind of refer to it as non-sexual touch, which would be not necessarily touching your sexual organs, which would also include breasts. So you would go for things that are not as obvious. It's going to assist you in connecting with your body. And it's a really great way too, is if you've gone through anything traumatic, to help you to be able to connect with yourself first before allowing other people to touch you, so you can get familiar with touch and feel safe with touch. So we've done similar things like this on the pleasure zone before. I've talked and given you guys walkthrough exercises. So this one is similar, just maybe a little bit different. And some of the benefits are this particular work, which I think we're going to have to get to after the commercial break because I'm talking too much, and that's okay. We're going to be the benefit of this breath work is to be able to enhance nerve sensitivity for more pleasure. And it's going to also allow you to increase full body arousal. So if you can have full body arousal, you can also have full body orgasms / climaxes. And that energy, it actually moves like to your, different energetic bodies, your auric, etheric, catheric, metatheric bodies. Like you start to feel it as if it's like emanating like a wave off of your body. So I know it might sound peculiar, but when you experience it, you'll know what I'm talking about. And you might not experience it in this particular meditation, and that's okay. It might take a few times of practicing to be able to do this. You know, people are practitioners for their entire lives to do these kinds of different breath works and visualizations. So we are going to head to our next commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be doing the sensory expansion breath for awakening pleasure sensitivity. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Are you secretly a voyeur, wondering what's going on in other people's sex lives? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual evolution? Are you interested in people who are pioneers of different sexual and pleasurable practices? Lean in now with Milica Jelenic, where she will entice you and your body to know your own pleasure zone. On the Pleasure Zone radio show, with sex, relationship, and intimacy coach, Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Pleasure Zone with sex, relationship, and intimacy coach, Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email, info@MilicaJelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back, my sweet pleasure seekers. I hope I got you interested enough to stick around to do a little visualization with me. And one of the things that we're going to be playing with is visualizing pleasure going through our whole bodies. Oh, yeah. So I'm going to give you the lowdown again. We're going to be taking deep breaths in through the nose. And then I'll be guiding you through a bit of a visualization so that you can visualize pleasure going through your body. And then you're going to exhale and allow all the tension and stress to just release out of your body. And you can also touch your body if you want. So if you're on video with me, I'm going to just touch my body in places that you can actually see. So like touching your own neck or your own hands. Your own face. You might want to just put your hands over your face too, like over your eyes, and just feel how, like, the gentleness, or just noticing different things with how does it feel to touch your own eyes. You know that I don't like if other people touch my eyes, but I like having my own. I like doing that to myself. I have that about many parts of my body where I prefer to touch me than have other people touch me. It's kind of funny. But then it takes like a super level of intimacy and trust for me to let people touch me. I mean, they could probably spank my bum any day over touching, say, my ears or the nape of my neck. That is way more, strangely for me, that's like way more intimate. So it's different for everybody. So let's take some deep breaths in. We're just going to be really slow and diligent. So we're going to try and breathe in for 8 on this one. And just visualize on that breath in that there's a sense of calm and ease. And at the same time, like every cell of your body is waking up and it's becoming attractive to pleasure. And so it's going to attract pleasure. So your cells are going to start to wake up. As you exhale, you're going to release any tension and stress in your body. Again, you can touch your body, touch your neck, touch your arms, touch your face, touch your hands, touch your thighs, taking a deep breath in. Visualizing pleasure in your body as you breathe out. Keeping that breath going in. Noticing the different parts of your body that maybe there is a lack of pleasure in those areas, and you can invite the energy of pleasure to go there, of awakening pleasure to be in those areas, so that if it feels a little dark or dense or turned off, and you would like to say, turn on your knees. Let's wake them up and add pleasure to your knees. We'll wake up and add pleasure to your feet and your thighs, and your shins and your knees and your all of it, all the way, and then to your hips. And then maybe you're bouncing around to your shoulders, and then maybe back to another hip. And allow the energy to move through your body wherever it would like to go. Visualizing pleasure going through your body as you're breathing in, taking the deep breath of 8 in, and then a deep breath through your mouth out, your exhale, and letting your body be calm, letting your body be touched, letting your body be awakened. Breathing in through your nose for 8. And allowing all the visuals of pleasure to swirl in your body. And then out for 8. And noticing that anywhere that there may be interference, where pleasure isn't being invited in, you can ask for those areas to lighten up. You can ask for breath to go there, to open them up, if you're ready for them to be opened up. There may be areas where you're not ready for light to go or for pleasure to go, and that's okay too. So allow the pleasure to go and light up all the cells of your body as you breathe in through your nose for 8. And then out through your mouth for 8. The whole time enjoying your own touch and your own breath. Allowing your body to remember the most pleasurable experiences of the yummiest food you've ever had, and letting that pleasure go through your whole body, from your head all the way down to your toes and back and forth and front and back, through your organs, through all your systems, even through your interstitial fluids, and just let all of the pleasure of your very favorite food ever go through your body. And it may be more than one thing. It may be an entire feast of food that you love. And then as you breathe in again, remembering the most pleasurable hug you've ever had in your life. And if you don't enjoy hugs, then maybe it was just the most pleasurable time you ever had sitting on your own. And if you've ever had a climax or an orgasm, bring that energy into your body, remembering and allowing your body to remember what that energy feels like, what it offered you, and how that energy can be expanded and grow, and let that go through all of your cells. And as it touches your cells, it lights them up, and it brings the orgasmic energy to every single cell of your body. And as it does that, those cells touch other cells, and a ripple effect occurs. And that energy will emanate all the way internally in your body, all the way to your skin, and all the way out. It's going to even touch the molecules of all of your energetic bodies. And then that will shine out as well, so that your body is absolutely surrounded by orgasmic energy. And allow yourself to just breathe in that this is a very natural way to be living, and allow your body to breathe out, in for 8 and out for 8, as this energy just moves through your entire system, swirling, touching different cells as they all light up. And when they are all lit up, that they are moving with grace and that they are moving beautifully, and that all of those cells are now emanating light, massive amounts of light, and allowing that light to just shine out. And that light is orgasmic energy. That's the energy of life giving energy. It's the energy of creativity. And remembering that you can touch your body and allow that energy to come through everywhere. If you're feeling there are cold spots on your body, just put your hand there. Let the orgasmic energy go there. And allow your body to just be with this for a moment, as you just let your body bask in the glow of the orgasmic energy. And as you be with this energy, I'm going to give you a description of what we're going to be doing next. We're going to be doing some circular breathing. So circular breathing is a type of tantric practice. It's also a practice in different things like Tai Chi and Qigong, and different energy work in general has this circular breathing technique. What it does is it moves energy through the body to allow for prolonged pleasure. If you want to extend your orgasms, if you want to extend and have multiple orgasms, or have non-ejaculatory male orgasms, multiple orgasms for men. So that is something that you can use this type of breathing for, to expand pleasure beyond your genitals. So your genitals aren't the only focus, so that you can enhance connection to yourself and your partner. This tantric circular breathing, as you're continuing with your in for 8, out for 8, allowing your body to be lit up. Tantric breathing, this tantric circular breathing, allows your body to regulate your nervous system with this kind of breathing and deepen intimacy. You might find that as you're doing this, that your body might want to be moving and grooving as the energy moves through your pelvis and up through your spine. So just allow that to happen. One of the things that I like to do when I'm doing circular breathing is to stick my tongue on the roof of my mouth, just behind my teeth. I find that that really helps and adds to the experience of the circular breathing. I don't know if everybody does that, but that is the way that I was taught to do it. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale deeply. Again, as you've been doing for 8, you can stick with that in for 8, out for 8 for now, just to notice your energy still with that light in the orgasmic energy running in your body. And we're going to inhale for 8 and just allow the breath to move up from your pelvis. So before we were breathing in, when we were breathing in through our nose, it might feel like it's coming in through your head. This time you'll still be breathing in. You can breathe in through your nose or your mouth. But the breath is coming up from the very base of your spine. It might actually change your posture so that you're sitting up straighter. So it's going to move up through your pelvic area, through your spine, and then you're going to hold it at the very top at your pineal gland. And if you're not sure where that is, it's like the center of your brain, and you're just going to hold the energy there for a moment. And then you're going to exhale with your mouth, and you're going to send, or you can exhale with your nose. I prefer exhale with my mouth. And you're going to send the energy back down. You can move it either up through the back of your body, or you can move it when you're going up through your spine. You can also go back down through your spine, or you can go up through your spine and then it comes back down the front. So that's up to you. So we're just going to bring it in through circles, breathing in, bringing it up into your pelvis, up your spine, holding it at the very top in your pineal gland, all the while having all that orgasmic, luscious energy from before incorporated through all your cells waking up. And then breathe down, all the energy coming back down right into your pelvis. So breathe right into your pelvis. You might notice like a tingling sensation or like a waking up in your genitals. I find that my clitoris twitches, and sometimes the introitus, so the opening of my vagina, will also get a little twitchy, and sometimes the sensation in my vulva, it might start to feel more swollen. So your body will start to feel arousal, and the more you practice this, the more you'll start to feel arousal. So even though we're bringing it up through the pelvis and these things are feeling awakened sometimes in the genitals, it's going to expand beyond that. So bringing the energy in, up through your spine, sitting in the very top of your pineal gland, and then out the front, back to your pelvis and circulating back up. So continue that circular breathing as we head to commercial break. You're listening to the Pleasure Zone here on Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back after this commercial.
Are you secretly a voyeur, wondering what's going on in other people's sex lives? What if now is the time for a totally different sexual evolution? Are you interested in people who are pioneers of different sexual and pleasurable practices? Lean in now with Milica Jelenic, where she will entice you and your body to know your own pleasure zone. On the Pleasure Zone radio show, with sex, relationship, and intimacy coach, Milica Jelenic, you'll receive tools, inspiration, and a foundation to allow yourself to receive more in your sex life, and quite possibly other areas of your life as well. Listen for the Pleasure Zone with Milica every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific Time on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. This is the Pleasure Zone with sex, relationship, and intimacy coach, Milica Jelenic. To participate in the program today, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email, info@MilicaJelenic.com. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my sweet pleasure seekers. I hope you're really enjoying this breath work today. We do have another little segment to go through. One of the things that I find is that we just don't breathe enough, and we don't know how to breathe. So these breathing exercises, now that you have 4 really simple breath work exercises under your belt, feel free, use them in all kinds of different ways. You might, feel like you want to get creative with them, as I have gotten creative with some of them myself. Sometimes I learn something and I think, well, what if I had an orgasm to that? So there are things that you can do and play with. And, you might think, oh, okay, what if I do that breath work and I don't touch just random non-sexual spots? What if I touch sexual spots? Well, you can go ahead and try. The reason I suggest touching non-sexual spots for that, not the last breath work, but the one before, is that a lot of times if you've had any sexual trauma in your life, or if you've been touched in any way inappropriately, you will probably do very well to adjust touch and be able to adapt to your own touch first in a non-sexual way, and then moving to touching yourself sexually, but also getting used to your own touch, say on your arms, would allow that when somebody else does that, it might not throw you off and throw you into a tailspin. So it's just learning how to allow yourself to be touched, and touched in a way that feels good for you. So also know at any point that you can just not do that if you don't like it too. I thought I was going to do a guided meditation with you guys. I might just do a bonus. I might just do a bonus audio. So for those of you who would like a bonus audio for deep breathing and pleasure and relaxation, I will be happy to create one if I have more than 10 requests in the next week to create a deep breathing for pleasure and relaxation. So that means you're going to have to write to me through my website. And if I get more than 10 of those, I will give away a free audio to you guys, whoever writes to me. You don't even have to be on my mailing list for that. You do need to, though, send me an email and request, I would like that guided meditation for deep breathing for pleasure and relaxation. I'd actually like to know how much interest there is out there before I go and create an audio for you. So one of the things I wanted to talk about too is a little bit of integration and some journaling about these different things. So being mindful and becoming more aware of, all things to do with the mind-body connection for pleasure. One of those mind-body things to do is to journal. And so I thought I would give you some journaling prompts to help you along the way. One of the things you might want to reflect on is, how does my body feel right now? And if you would like these journaling prompts, again, write to me. I'm happy to send you the list. So if you don't want to write them down, that's fine. You can feel free to send me an email and request the journaling prompts. I'm happy to give them to you too in a PDF. I already have that available, so you just have to request the PDF. And at some point, I might just have it as a download on my website as well. So the mind-body awareness and pleasure reflection is what you'd be asking for. So number one, how does my body feel right now? So describe in that prompt, describe any sensations or tensions or areas that you notice are open or areas that might feel closed. Anything. When it comes to sensations, you might notice cold or heat, tingling, different sensations. You might also notice different reactions to your environment, like you might feel hypersensitive to sound or different things like that. The next question is, where in my body do I feel the most connected to pleasure? And then another reflection on that same one is, where do I feel the most disconnected? So for a long time, one of the places where I felt the most connected in my body was my shoulders and the upper part of my back. Loved that part of my body, loved looking at it, felt very connected to it. And it was obscure. So, it's kind of funny. It was the one time I'd have to look in a mirror to see it. And I normally didn't look in mirrors very much. So it was always an interesting experience. Like, really enjoyed looking at my own back. So it's funny. You might feel really connected to your feet, or really disconnected from your eyes, or really disconnected from your genitals and really connected to your armpits. So write them down. Write all those body parts down that you feel most connected to and disconnected to. You can even go internal to organs if you want. And another question would be, what does pleasure mean to me beyond the sexual experiences? What does pleasure mean? So how do you experience and how do you define pleasure in your everyday life? What do you derive pleasure from? Is it food? Is it having a bath? Is it watching something, having great coffee? All those different things can be the way that you experience pleasure. It could be feeling cool breeze outside. And then also you can write down 3 different things that consistently bring you physical pleasure or comfort. So you might see me on my show if you watch me on video. I love wearing cuddly things, so I have usually sweaters.
Thank you for choosing to listen
like that.
to The Pleasure Zone with sex, relationship, and intimacy coach Milica Jelenic. We'll return next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by choosing to be turned on and tuned in to your body.